Testing.
All right, let's get a choir another hand. Let's give them another hand. Two beautiful songs. So now we're going to open up with the reading of the law. And the first place we're going to is Exodus, the 20th chapter. We're going to read verses 1 through 17. Exodus, the 20th chapter. We're going to read verses 1 through 17. When you get it, my brother, please read.
And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord would not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
Now let's go to Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. We're going to read verses 13 and 14. Ecclesiastes 12, we're going to read verses 13 and 14. When you get it, my brother, please read.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
Now, if you would, turn to Revelation, the 22nd chapter. We're going to read verses 14 and 15. Revelation 22, and we're going to read verses 14 and verse 15. When you get it, Mac, please read.
Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
So now we just read the keys to salvation. If you simply fear God and keep the commandments, you will have eternal life.
Amen.
So we read that every Sabbath day, but please don't take those words for granted because you hear it every Sabbath day. Because a lot of times when you hear things over and over again, you tend to take it lightly. But definitely don't take those words lightly because they are keys to salvation. So the title of today's lesson is Be Strong and of Good Courage. Be strong and of good courage. This lesson is a lesson that my beloved brother Alex did on a Wednesday night Q&A. And that lesson touched me so much that I wanted to take that lesson and do it on the Sabbath day. Because those words right there are words that, especially new people in this word, or even some that's been in this word long enough, we have to be strong and of good courage because a lot of times things come in our life and a lot of times things happen and we don't know which way to turn. Sometimes we don't want to call the brother and the sister to let them know what's going on. You don't let everybody know your business anyway. But sometimes, for some reason, we run from the book. But this is the first place that we need to go to, because this is the balm, this is the medicine, this is what heals us at the end of the day. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this lesson, because we're going to do some reading today. It's the Sabbath day, and I hope I'm not keeping nobody from washing their car or doing something else, but hopefully I can keep you here long enough to keep you from doing it, polluting the Sabbath. So we're going to get started. The first place we're going to is Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter, and we're going to read verses 1 through 8. Deuteronomy, the 31st chapter, and we're going to read verses 1 through 8. And we're going to see the title of this lesson in this chapter, and we're going to see it in a couple of more chapters we read as well. Deuteronomy 31, verses 1 through 8. When you get it, Matt, please read.
And Moses went and spake these words unto all Israel. And he said unto them, I am 120 years old this day. I can no more go out and come in. Also the Lord hath said unto me, thou shalt not go over this Jordan.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The Lord thy God, he will go over before thee, and he will destroy these nations from before thee, and thou shalt possess them. And Joshua, he shall go over before thee, as the Lord hath said.
Come on, Matt.
And the Lord shall do unto them as he did to Sihon and to Og, king of the Amorites, and to the land of them whom he destroyed.
Verse 5.
And the Lord shall give them up before your face, that ye may do unto them accordingly unto all the commandments which I have commanded you.
Come on, Matt.
Be strong and of a good courage.
Yes, sir. So all of that he gave you, now he's telling you to be strong and be of good courage. And what else, Matt?
Fear not.
That's right. Fear not. Come on.
Nor be afraid of them.
That's right. Don't be afraid of them. Why?
For the Lord thy God, he is it. It is that goeth with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
So he giving you words of encouragement right there. He letting you know, I'm going before you. I ain't going behind you. I ain't on your side. I'm going in front of you. Read, Matt.
And Moses called unto Joshua and said unto him in the sight of all Israel, be strong and of a good courage, for thou must go with this people unto the land which the Lord hath sworn unto their fathers to give them, and thou shalt cause them to inherit it.
Yes, sir. Verse 8.
And the Lord, he it is that doth go before thee. He will be with thee.
Yes.
He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed.
Yes, sir. So those words was given to the children of Israel when they came out of the land of Egypt. But we're going to see they got to be encouraged with these words again, because that's one way. That's, to me, that's a sign to let me know that we are the children of Israel, because we some of the most scary people there is. When the light on, we bad, we tough. But as soon as that sun go down, boy, we some of the scariest thing there is. Now, let's turn to Joshua, the 1st chapter. He said Joshua was going to take you through there. So let's look at Joshua. Joshua, the 1st chapter. And we're going to read verses 1 through 9. Joshua, the 1st chapter. And we're going to read verses 1 through 9. When you get it, Matt, please read.
Now, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying,
What did he say?
Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel.
Read.
Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses.
So everything that he said, he's letting you know, I've already done it. It's given unto you. So that letting you know his word ain't coming back void, but we're going to see through this lesson that the children of Israel still have doubt. Read.
From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward going down of the sun shall be your coast.
Yes.
There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so will I be with thee. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
Verse 6.
Be strong and of a good courage.
That is again, read.
For unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do all according to the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee.
So look, it got a little thing in there, just a little addendum that go right with it. Keep the law. As long as you're obedient to my word, I will do all these things for you. And that goes even unto this day.
Yes, sir.
But we can't understand that because the law ain't no good no more. It's been nailed to the cross. It's done away with. No way. Read, Matt.
Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. This book of the law shall not depart of thy mouth.
Yes, sir.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
So we got to meditate on this word day and night. It ain't, some people ask you, how many times should I pray? Or how many times should I read? Or should I read the Bible from Genesis all the way straight through? You just need to be in this book. You need to be on your knees praying. And the Lord will lead you which way he wants you to study his word. Where we at, Matt?
Middle of 8.
Take it from the top.
This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
So look what he said right here. He said he'll make your way prosperous, and you shall have good success. But they said the law done away with, but they want all the prosperity and they want all the success, but they can't keep the law. Because if they kept it, it'll be ran over. Drake will be trying to, and everybody be trying to guide people to seats. This place will be jam-packed if they simply kept the law. Remember the Sabbath day to do what? Keep it holy.
Yes, sir.
Verse 9, Matt.
Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So now we're going to stay in Joshua, and we're going to go to the 23rd chapter of Joshua, and we're going to read verses 1 through 13. Joshua 23. And we're going to read verses 1 all the way down to verse 13. When you get it, Matt, please read.
And it came to pass a long time after that the Lord had given rest unto Israel from all of their enemies round about, that Joshua waxed old and stricken in age.
Yes, so God did away with all of Israel's enemies. You even see that when King David was ruling Israel as the king. He destroyed all the enemies, so when Solomon came in to reign, there was no enemies against the nation of Israel. Read.
And Joshua called for all Israel, and for their elders, and for their heads, and for their judges, and for their officers, and said unto them, I am old and stricken in age. And ye have seen all that the Lord your God hath done unto all these nations because of you. For the Lord your God is he that hath fought for you.
Read, Matt.
Behold, I have divided unto you by lot these nations that remain, to be an inheritance for your tribes, from Jordan with all the nations that I have cut off, even unto the great sea westward.
Yeah, so even we seeing this was a promise that was made in the beginning, and we're going to see this promise come again in the future. But guess what? That stranger that came out with you out of Egypt, he going to have to give a portion of this land too. Read the book of Ezekiel. I think it's the 43rd chapter. And it lets you know that that stranger got to get a portion of it. Whatever tribe he want to sojourn with, you got to give him a portion of your land. So you can't do away with that stranger. Read, Matt.
And the Lord your God, he shall expel them from before you, and drive them from out of your sight. And you shall possess their land, as the Lord your God hath promised you.
Yes.
Be ye therefore very courageous.
That is again.
To keep and to do all that is written in the book of the law of Moses, that you turn not aside therefrom to the right hand or to the left.
So you notice how he keeps stressing that. Don't turn your foot away from the law. Read.
that ye come not among these nations, these that remain among you, neither make mention of the name of their gods, nor cause to swear by them.
Yes.
Neither serve them.
Come on.
Nor bow yourselves unto them.
Come on, Mac, verse 8.
But cleave unto the Lord your God.
Cleave unto your God that brought you out of Egypt and brought you in this land and destroyed all your enemies. Read.
As you have done unto this day.
Come on.
For the Lord hath driven out from before you great nations and strong. But as for you, no man hath been able to stand before you unto this day.
Read, Matt.
One man of you shall chase 1,000. For the Lord your God, he it is that fighteth for you, as he hath promised you. Take good heed, therefore, unto yourselves.
Now he getting a little warning. Read, Matt.
That ye love the Lord your God.
Come on.
Else, if you do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you.
So he giving the children of Israel a little warning right here, because he left a remnant of those nations among the children of Israel to do what? To try them, to see what they turn to their gods and turn to them. That's why he's giving them that warning right here. Read Mark 13.
Know for a certainty that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps
yes,
unto you.
Yes, sir. That is. Come on.
And scourges in your side, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish off from this good land which the Lord your God hath given you.
Yeah, so don't turn back and turn to those gods to serve their gods. That even goes even unto now. You got to serve the God of Israel. He gave you feast days. Good. If you want to give a present out on one of the feast days, give somebody a present on one of the feast days. You ain't got to wait till December 25th to give nobody no present. He gave you feast days. If you want to do it then, do it then. Let's go to Psalms, the 27th chapter. Psalms, the 27th chapter. The Lord gave us everything we need, but we don't want to take advantage of it. We want to do what we see everybody around us do. He told you, he put them around you for a snare, for a trap. And you see all through this Bible, Israel falls, step in them traps. They see that big old bear trap over there, but they want what's inside that trap. And they get caught by it every time. Psalms 27, we're going to read verses 1 through 6. Psalms 27, and we're going to read verses 1 through 6. When you get it, Matt, please read.
The Lord is my light and my salvation.
Yes, sir.
Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?
Yes, sir. So Matt was singing that, but listen. Those words came straight out of the book. Read, Matt.
When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, come upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumble and fail. Thou and a host shall encamp against me. My heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident.
Read, Matt.
One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire of his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret place of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me upon a rock.
Yes, sir. Even when that time, when the tribulation hit, he gonna hide you in the wilderness if you fearing him and keeping his commandments. He always got a place for his people that obey his word. Read.
And now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. I will sing, I will sing praises unto the Lord.
That's good, Matt. We done went too far because it sounds good. I was about to let you keep reading until I looked over him. Yes, sir. He is our salvation and our strength. Let's go to 1 Samuel, the 17th chapter. 1 Samuel 17. And we're going to read verses 1 through 9. We're going to do a little skip. we're going to look at David and Goliath. David and Goliath. We're going to see some of them same words we just read. Lord being our strength and our salvation. And we're going to even look at Goliath, and we're going to see actually how big he is. And he ain't the one that you see on TV. He probably that size, but he ain't that color. Because Goliath come out of the seed of who? Ham. And David come out of the seed of who? So them two characters you see on TV, nope. 1 Samuel 17, give me verse 1, Matt, when you get it.
Now the Philistines gathered together their armies to battle, and were gathered together at Shadrach, which belonged to Judah, and pitched between Shadrach and Azekah in Ephes-dammim. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Elah, and set battle in array against the Philistines.
Yes.
And the Philistines stood on a mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side. And there was a valley between them. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span.
So 6 cubits and a span is typically 9 feet, 9 inches tall. That's a big man. That's a big black man. Read.
And he had a helmet of brass upon his head, and he was armed with a coat of mail, and the weight of the coat was 5,000 shekels of brass.
So a coat of mail is a protective garment made of overlapping metal plates or linked metal rings that was worn in armor. And it said it was, what it said it weighed?
It weighed 5,000 shekels of brass.
Okay, so now we see that's equivalent to 181.8 pounds. Read, Matt.
And he had greaves of brass upon his legs, and a target of brass between his shoulders.
Yeah, so this man was covered with armor from his toes all the way up. Read, Matt.
And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam,
Uh-huh.
and his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron, and one bearing shield went before him.
So we see that, and it said, and his spearhead weighed 600 shekels of iron. So we see 600 shekels of iron is around 16 pounds. So everything that he had on, he wore. You know, I know a lot of y'all probably seen the basketball player Manute Bol. He was around 7 feet 7, 8, somewhere around in there. But this guy right here, you have to be a really big man to be able to wear and carry all of that he had. Manute Bol was probably this big. And he just could probably lift his pen up. But that guy there, he had to be a big man to be able to wear that and carry all that he had. Read, Matt.
And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel and said unto them, Why are you come out to set your battle in array?
Uh-huh.
Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me.
Read.
And if he be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us.
Read, Matt.
And
Hold up, Matt. Skip down to verse 11 and read.
When Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and greatly afraid.
Yeah, because they see a man of this size and stature, and they saying, man, we finna lose. But that just shows you how quickly our minds go from all of that the Lord done for us, and then we get put in a situation and we forget God every time. Keep reading, Matt.
Now David was the son of that Ephrathite of Bethlehem, Judah, whose name was Jesse. And he had 8 sons. And the man went among men for an old man in the days of Saul.
Uh-huh.
And the 3 eldest sons of Jesse went and followed Saul to the battle. And the names of his 3 sons went to the battle were Eliab, the firstborn, next to him Abednego, and the third Shammah. And David was the youngest, and the 3 elders followed Saul.
Skip down to verse 17 and read.
And Jesse said unto David his son, Take now for thy brethren an ephah of this parched corn, and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp to thy brethren.
Skip down to verse 20 and read.
And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host was going forth to the fight and shouted for the battle.
Skip down to verse 22 and read.
And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage and ran into the army and came and saluted his brethren. And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them.
Yeah, so the same thing he said earlier. If you beat me, we'll serve you, but if we beat y'all, you're going to serve us. And David heard him. Go ahead.
And all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were sore afraid.
Come on.
And the men of Israel said, have you seen this man that has come up?
So look at that. Just think about them saying in those scary Scooby-Doo voice. Whoo, have you seen this man that then came up? We shook. Read.
Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and he will give him his daughter and make his father's house free in Israel. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?
Come on.
And
so
the people.
David got confidence right here. He ain't worried about him, this old uncircumcised Philistine. David talking big talk to this 9 feet, 9 inch tall giant. Skip down to verse 28 and read.
And Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men. And Eliab anger was kindled against David.
So look at that. David talking big talk, but he like, hey man, what you doing? You trying to get all us destroyed. Read.
And he said, why camest thou down hither? And with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thy heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see the battle.
Yeah, because he know David. David is a warrior from the heart, but he's a man after God's own heart. Read.
And David said, what have I done? What have I now done? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him toward another and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner.
Go ahead.
And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him.
Read.
And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine.
Yes, sir. Read.
And Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he is a man of war from his youth.
Yeah, Saul even shook. Go ahead.
And David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock. And when I went out after him, I smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him.
Read, Matt.
Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them.
Yes, sir. Come on.
Seeing he hath defiled the armies of the living God.
37. What 37 said, Matt?
David said, moreover, the Lord that delivered me out
Hold
of
up. Who delivered him?
the Lord.
Read it.
The Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and the Lord be with thee.
Yes, sir. So David know he ain't in battle by himself. He know who helped him battle that lion and helped him battle that bear. The God of Israel. Skip down to verse 40 and read, Matt.
And he took his staff in his hand and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook.
Yes, sir. That's my kind of guy right there. Because when I was little, I used to love rocks. And I can throw them. Read.
And put them in a shepherd's bag which he had in the scrip. And his sling was in his hand. And he drew near to the Philistine.
Yes.
And the Philistine came on and drew near unto David. And the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy and of a fair countenance. And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves?
Go ahead.
And the Philistine cursed David by his God.
Ooh-wee. Come on, Matt.
And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field. Then said David to the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied.
Read, Matt.
This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee and take thy head from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel.
So he doing all of this and letting everybody know that, hey, my God is going to give me the strength to be able to defeat you. And I'm going to cut your head off, and we're going to let all the wild beasts and the fowls eat of your body. Read.
And all this assembly shall know that the Lord saveth not with the sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give you into our hands.
Yes, sir, the battle, and that's what we got to remember. The battle is the Lord. He don't need a sword or shield. He can do it all by himself with a snap of a finger by speaking one word. Because he got angels that's all around everywhere that'll put in that work for him. Read.
And it came to pass when the Philistines arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran toward the army to meet the Philistines.
Look at that. David ain't scared. He running straight toward them. Come on.
And David put his hand in his bag and took this a stone and slanged it and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in the hand of David.
Close us out with 51, Mac.
Therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And the Philistines saw their champion was dead. They fled.
Yes, sir. So now they running for cover. But that's the same thing our Lord, our God, will do for us. He'll fight the battle for us.
Yes, sir.
He even told us, vengeance is mine. I will repay. So you ain't got to go out there trying to hunt nobody down and seek nobody that did some wrong to you or your family. God will repay. So now let's go back to the book of Psalms. Let's go to Psalms 31. We're going to read 1 through 8. We're going to do a little skipping in that as well. Psalms 31. We're going to read verses 1 through 8. We're going to do a little skipping. Hopefully these words that we read is even words of encouragement to you. If you had any doubt or you were worried about something today, that you see that the Lord will fight all your battles for you. If you simply just fear him and keep his commandments. He gave you the recipe. He gave you the answers. But we want to write our own answers down. I think it's this and I think it's that. I do it myself. And we lose every time. Psalms 31, give me verse 1, Matt.
In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness.
Go ahead, Matt.
Bow down thine ear to me. Deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock, for an house of defense to save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Pull me out of the net that they have laid privately for me, for thou art my strength.
Come on.
Into thine hand I commit my spirit. Thou hast redeemed me, O Lord, God of truth. I have hated them that regard lying vanities, but I trust in the Lord.
Verse 7.
I will be glad and rejoice in thy mercy, for thou hast considered my trouble. Thou hast known my soul in adversaries, and hast not shut me up into the hand of the enemy. Thou hast set my feet in a large room.
Skip down to verse 13 and read. 13 all the way to 15.
For I have heard the slander of many. Fear was on every side. While they took counsel together against me, they devised to take away my life. But I trusted in thee, O Lord. I said, thou art my God. My times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hands of mine enemies and from them that persecute me.
Yeah, so these even little prayers that you can pray to yourself if you are going through some of these things. Read.
Make thy face to shine upon thy servant. Save me for thy mercy's sake.
Skip down to 21 and read.
Blessed be the Lord, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou heardest the voice of my supplications when I cried unto thee. O love the Lord, all ye saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful, and plentifully rewarded the proud doer.
Yes, sir. So he rewarded the proud doer. So when you're doing this thing, that's why he tell you, you're supposed to love him with what? All your heart, all your mind, all your soul. You're supposed to love the Lord with all your being. And you're supposed to do his word, what? As a proud doer. 24, Matt.
Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all ye that hope in the Lord.
So that be of good courage then popped up again. But that's what it's letting you know. You can't have no fear. You got to be like David, how David ran up on Goliath. He had no fear because he knew the God of Israel was before him. And we got to be the same way with whatever we do. Now, let's go to Daniel's, the 6th chapter. Daniel 6. Like I said, we're going to do some reading today, family. So bear with me. Daniel 6, and we're going to read verses 1 through 26. Daniel's the 6th chapter, and we're going to read verses 1 through 26. So we're going to look at Daniel and the lion's den. When you get it, my brother, please read.
It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because of excellency, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm.
So little old Daniel, he ended up being chief president over all of them because of the type of person he was, the God he served. Read.
Then the presidents and princesses sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom.
So y'all know this. You serving the Lord and you on your job, and they give you the promotion that everybody else wanted. So now what happened? They found a way to tear you down, to get you out that up above office and get you back down on the floor with us. Read.
But they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him.
So that's a FYI to everybody that's getting bumped up or moved up in a position on their job. Fear God, keep the commandments, keep him first in all you do, and they can't find nothing to tear you down. Read.
Then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God.
So now they got to find some kind of way to get you on keeping the laws of God, keeping the Sabbath day. He ain't coming to work on the Sabbath day. He keep calling off. Some of us in here know about that. Where we at, Matt?
Verse 6.
Read.
Then these presidents and princesses assembled together to the king and said, thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdoms, the governors and the princesses, the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions.
Come on.
Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not.
Yes, sir. So they know once he signed it, it can't be changed. Even the king can't even change it. Read.
Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and in his window being open in the chambers toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God. And he did aforetime, as he did aforetime.
So look what 10 started off with. 10 said, now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he still did what he always did. He ain't backed down and changed, closed the blinds and did whatever else and tried to hide. He still did what he knew, that serving his God the way he always served him. He ain't changed his order of operation. And that's the same thing we got to do. Even though a little adversity, little things happen, we can't change what we do. We still got to serve him the way we always served him. Read.
Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not.
Read.
Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day.
Look at that. So they saw him all 3 times he was praying, and they went and reported it. Go ahead.
Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set in his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him.
Yes, the king didn't want to, hey, man, wait a minute. It got to be some kind of way around this. So he's searching it. He's trying to find it. But what, Matt?
Then these men assembled unto the king and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed.
Yes, sir, king. No matter what, you can't change it. What else, Matt?
Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel,
watch what the king say. Read.
Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee.
Look at that. The king even have faith in Daniel God. So that's crazy that the oracles and everything is given to Israel, but the other nations have more faith than we do even in our own God. Read.
And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him.
Look at that. The king couldn't even eat because he was worried about his servant Daniel. Even though he knew his God was going to protect him, the king still was hurt. Read.
Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of the lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever.
Look at that. Daniel holler, O king, live forever. He landed between them lions. Everything good. Read.
My God hath sent his angel.
Look at that. My God has sent his angel and what?
And have shut the lion's mouth.
Yes, sir.
That they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt.
Yes.
Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God.
But watch what happened. Read.
And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions.
So look at that. Think about what Daniel said. He said he was an innocent man. He didn't even do nothing against the king. So what did the king do? The men that cast Daniel in, that accused him, that lied on him, a false witness, Take that from the top.
And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children,
Look
and
what
their
happened. Now
wives.
your whole family got to go down because you lied. Think about it. When you do something wrong, when you lie on something, your whole family suffer if you put away, if you kill. Because you the breadwinner. Now they suffer. Read.
And their wives and the lions had a mastery of them,
Ooh, go ahead.
and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den.
Uh-huh.
Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you.
And what else?
I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom, men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel.
Yes, sir.
For he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end.
Yes, sir. So when you serve the God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and you on your job, and you doing everything that you're supposed to do, guess what? The Lord gonna make a way for you. The Lord gonna even make those people get out of your way where you can continue serving him. But you can't fail. Your faith can't fail. All of this we read, we can simply sum it up with faith. So now let's go to Daniel's the 3rd chapter. Let's flip back. And we're gonna look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Daniel's 3, 1 through 6. Because it's all about faith. Daniel's 3, just flip back. Daniel's the 3rd chapter. We're going to read verses 1 through 6, and then we're going to do a little skipping. When you get it, my brother Matt, please read.
Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon.
Read.
Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princesses, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
So we even see the king dedicated something. We talking about dedication. We see the king dedicated something here. King Nebuchadnezzar, Gentile king. Read.
Then the princesses, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up.
Yes, sir. Read.
Then a herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king has set up.
Yes, verse 6.
And whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
Skip down to verse 12. Pick it up at 12 and read.
There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
So when they heard them musical instruments, they weren't bowing down to that. No. No, sir. Read.
Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you be ready, that at what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute.
So we're going to do it again. We're going to play these one more time. Read.
Harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, you fall down and worship the image which I have made? Well, if ye worship not,
But if
ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?
And who is that God that's going to deliver you out of my hands? He talking bold and big. Read.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this manner. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace.
And what?
And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king.
Yes.
But if not, be it known unto thee, O king,
So let's check this out. But if he don't deliver us out your hands, what?
that we will not serve thy God,
We still ain't gonna serve you, player.
nor
What else?
worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
Yes.
Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yes.
Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated.
Yo, woo, come on, 20.
And he commanded the mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace.
Take it all the way to 22, Matt, come on.
Then these men were bound in their coats.
So look at that. They bound, they even got their coats on. You taking everything you got, you taking him with you. Put your coat on, what else?
Their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
22.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Man, that thing was hot. They taking them down to throw them in the furnace, and they got killed. They got burned alive. Skip down to verse, no, take it all the way to 30, Mac. I'm sorry. Go all the way to 30.
And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?
Yes.
They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire.
So look at that. They not only in the furnace, but they walk around in there with their hat, their hosing, and everything. Because they know that the God of Israel gonna protect them. Then, like they said, if we die, hey, we still ain't gonna bow down to you. So we ain't worried about it. Read, Matt.
And they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
Yes.
Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you servants of the Most High God, come forth.
Look at that.
And
now,
come hither.
look at the words now. You servants of the Most High God. Now he the Most High God. Now you were talking about him at first. Read.
Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princesses, governors, and captains, and kings, counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose body the fire had no power, nor was an hair on their head singed. Neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them.
Yes, sir. Because think about it, when you out there, I know some of y'all done burned that barrel before. When it's cold outside and stand around that barrel. When you go around somebody else, you smelling like smoke. If you get too close to it, it'll singe the hairs on your arms, even to singe some of the hairs on your face. These boys didn't even smell like smoke. All the way to 30, Matt.
Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any God except their own God.
Yes.
Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort.
Now I hope y'all know what a dunghill is. Verse 30.
Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon.
Yes, sir. So, reading this to show you that if you stand strong with your God, no matter what happens to you in this world, on your job, or no matter where else, if you stand strong and walk in his word, and adversity do happen, and you still stand strong, you can change the hearts, talking about the mind, of others, and make them follow the God of Israel. But you got to stand strong. We are the examples. That's one way to fill this house up. is to stand strong on this word. I'm not coming on the Sabbath. Whatever I got to do, I'm going to have my holy convocation.
Amen.
If you're able to do that. If you're not able to do it at this time, you need to go to work and you need to pray and petition your God for a way to be able to do it. Now, let's go to Ephesians, the 6th chapter. Because sometime ain't the time. Sometimes you have to wait for that time in that moment and petition your God, and he'll let you know, now it's time. Or he already got something else lined up for you. When you get fired, you walk right into another job. But you got to petition your God. You got to be obedient first. First and foremost, you got to be walking in all his laws, all his statutes and commandments. Ephesians 6, and we're going to read verses 10 all the way to 17. Ephesians, the 6th chapter. We're going to read verses 10 to 17. When you get it, Matt, please read.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
It's not the armor of the Philistines, but the armor of God. Because you saw Goliath had on armor, but he didn't have on the God of Israel armor. Read.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood,
Yes.
but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God.
So you got to take the whole armor. You can't go out there with bits and pieces on. You got to have the whole armor of God on. Read.
That ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth.
Yes.
And having on the blessed parade of righteousness.
Yeah, so we know the word is truth. Come on.
And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith.
Yes, sir. So look what he said. Above all, take the shield of faith. Because if you don't have faith, your armor already got chinks in it. You in trouble. Read.
Wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God.
Yes, sir. So it all boils down to the word of God that you got to take with you. When Satan came against Jesus, what did he use? He used the word of God. It is written. It is written. And that's what you have to use. Not your words, but his words. So now let's move forward. Let's go to Isaiah, the 55th chapter. Isaiah 55. And we're going to read verse 8. And then we're going to read verse 13. Isaiah 55. We're going to read verse 8. And we're going to read verse 13. Because what we got to remember is the Lord's ways are not our ways. We got to conform to his ways, not him conforming to us. Isaiah 55, give me verse 8 first, Matt.
For my thoughts are not your thoughts. Neither are your ways my ways, said the Lord.
Yes, sir. Skip down to 13 and read.
Instead of the thorn shall come up the fir tree, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree. And it shall be to thee, Lord, for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off.
Yes, sir. So that name you're going to have is going to be an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. If you do what? Follow the ways of the Lord. It's just that simple. You'll get a name that will not be cut off. But we always let our ways, what? Get in the way. Now, let's go to 2 Timothy, the 2nd chapter. And we're going to read verses 1 all the way down to verse 3. 2 Timothy, the 2nd chapter. And we're going to read verses 1 all the way down to verse 3. When you get it, my brother, please read.
Thou, therefore, my son, be strong in the grace that is in Christ Jesus.
Yes.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also.